Have you ever felt powerless? Like you can't do anything to change a certain situation and are overwhelmed by the outcome of it? What system am I talking about? Well, this is not a conspiracy theory or anything like it. I am talking about your brain. It is the system that, if you learn how it works and how you can control it, you can regain the driving seat of your life. Because the brain functions on a few simple premises. The biggest one being that it is always looking to save energy, which sends you into doing the same things all over again. This is called your comfort zone, and I'm pretty sure you heard about it at least once. Everything I am saying here is based on my own experiences and perspectives. For some of you it might work, for others it won't. So how does the brain work? Well, first you need to know about the neurotransmitters that have control over your emotions, your behaviors, and your reaction to stress. They are endorphins, which are released in response to pain and stress. They act as natural painkillers and can give us a feeling of euphoria or pleasure. Oxytocin, which is primarily associated with social bonding and attachment. It is released when we hug or kiss someone, and it helps us feel connected and loved. Dopamine, which is a reward neurotransmitter, is released when we do something pleasurable, like eating a delicious meal or succeeding at a task. Serotonin, which is a calming neurotransmitter, helps us regulate our mood, sleep, and appetite. Low levels of serotonin are associated with depression. Now, imagine you are aware of each and every single one of these, every second of your day. Would you still make emotional decisions? Would you still think you have no control over your life if you knew your brain is only answering to those neurotransmitters? For example, would you crave those meals that only make you happy for 5 minutes if you knew that your brain is only asking for them because it misses those dopamine hits? If you'd be aware of that and would act on it every single time, your brain would get used to not being overwhelmed with dopamine, and in time it would stop asking for extra doses, making you happier in the long run. Tasty food is only making your brain used to dopamine, and in time it simply asks for more and more of that to make you feel a positive emotion. Are those 5 minutes worth all those hours of blame and lack of self-esteem? It's your decision. What you also need to know is that these neurotransmitters work as a reward system, and it is here for a reason. If your brain doesn't get rewarded, you'll simply have no reasons to live. Imagine you'd wake up one day and you had no motivation to do anything, get up, eat, or live. You'd simply die. They actually did an experiment on rats where they took out this reward system from their brain and noticed that those mice simply died because they had no will to live. The key to changing your life is learning how to hack it. You have to train your brain and reward it only when you do something productive for yourself. Like that, in the long run, it will simply push you to do more of that. Another important thing is to understand the difference between pleasure and happiness, and here are a few. Pleasure is short-term, like a meal. Happiness is long-term, like for a lifetime. Pleasure is visceral, you feel it in your body, and happiness is ephemeral, you feel it above it. Pleasure is taking, like casinos, gambling, and so on. Happiness is giving, doing something for humanity, for someone else. Pleasure is achieved alone, like eating sweets. Happiness is achieved in social groups, like a party or a gathering. Pleasure is achievable with substances, drugs, cocaine, heroin, etc. Happiness is not achievable with any substance. Pleasure in the extreme is addictive. Shopping, sex, gambling, drugs, gaming. Happiness is not. Pleasure is dopamine and happiness is serotonin. To understand how toxic dopamine hits could be for you, we need to start with the basics. Dopamine is an excitatory neurotransmitter, and once it binds to its receptor, the next neuron gets excited. This is called postsynaptic receptor activation. Thing is, neurons love to be excited, and who can blame them, but not overwhelmed. Once that happens, once the neuron gets overwhelmed, it dies. It happens because neurons are really active, and this exaggerated process is simply taking all the life away from them. So basically, if you keep overwhelming the neuron, it will simply get exhausted and die. Imagine that starting tomorrow, you'd stop expecting a substance to give you happiness, whether it is food, a drug, or anything else that simply gives you a dopamine boost. Imagine that you train your brain to push you forward with rewards that actually give you happiness in the long run. Would that make you take back the control of your life? Thank you for watching this video. I am Andre, and till next time, don't forget, keep your freedom in focus.